So recently, in case many of you guys out there are not really aware of what's going on, Thomas Massie lost the run in Kentucky, and the reason he lost is because of this right here. The guy that he was going up against, named Ed. Now it says $15 million was given to him by APAC. Truth of the matter is, this spent almost, or at least $30 million to get Massie out of the office. And this is what Massie pretty much had to say about the situation.
I would have come out sooner, but I had to.
I apologize for that.
I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Galrine in Tel Aviv.
It's funny. I mean, it's the truth. Although, homeboy, I don't think he's of the Yahud. I don't know what his lineage is. But the fact that a foreign government pretty much stepped in to get a U.S. citizen, Thomas Massie, out of office to put one of their goons in position of power, it truly amazes me that the American people are not on the street right now completely just burning everything down. Not that I'm calling for that. But I'm just saying that should be the natural reaction to a foreign government taking over your country, to a foreign government meddling in your election. And although this today is the most popular one that has been going on because it was obviously yesterday, do keep in mind that the sitting president of the United States of America pretty much took over $200 million from the same exact lady that also funded Ed to get Thomas Massie off the seat. They like to brag it. They like to brag on national television that Donald Trump is the first Jewish president, blah, 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 blah. Now, is he a Jew? Honestly, I don't know. And to be quite honest, I don't really care whether he's from a Jew. What I'm trying to tell you is his background is not something that should be very important. Who cares if Donald Trump he has converted to Judaism? What matters is the people who are pretty much running the show behind the curtain. Those are the people that you should be worried about. And the reason I say that is because they have a motive that does not align with the United States of America. The people who fund both Donald Trump and Ed here, these people are Israel first. All the policies that pass here, all the laws that pass, not all, but the majority of the law that passes here, most of the time is to benefit the state of Israel. Most of the time is to keep the American people docile, to continue funneling money to the state of Israel so that way they can continue committing their atrocity. Thomas Massie was somebody who was pretty much trying his utmost best to oust these people in a legal limit without getting popped like what happened to Charlie Kirk. Him losing this battle, one thing that I do want to say is the fact that they put so much money behind Ed to get Thomas Massie off the seat. In my personal opinion, I genuinely think something big is coming, and Thomas Massie, they cannot have him in office because he will most likely try to expose it, just like the way he has been doing with the Epstein file. To start with with some of the idea and give you some idea of what I'm talking about. When JFK was assassinated, what happened? Pretty much the limitation of the amount of weapon that was pretty much being flown into Israel was completely lifted by Lyndon B. Johnson. They pretty much had unlimited, weapon. And pretty much they were able to completely finish building their secret nuclear program that's going on. That's example number one. Example number two, when Charlie Kirk also got popped, what happened? Iran war started. That's example number two. Example number three, Thomas Massie has not been, kicked out of Congress. Ed is not in position of power, which means something probably is going to come, something big, and perhaps Thomas Massie would be somebody who would expose this. And now with him out of Congress, there's not going to be anybody that's pretty much opposed these people anymore. So these are just a little tiny example. I mean, there's many, many examples, but I don't want this video to go on. But it just amazes me that a foreign government, a foreign entity, a foreign group have such huge amount of power on who gets elected and who does not get elected. This is a prime example that democracy is completely dead. I knew this from the get-go. I knew this from a long time ago, because this whole idea that you have the freedom to vote, it never existed. And the reason, actually, I wouldn't say it never did. Perhaps they had a really good intention at the beginning, but as time go on, that idea faded away a long time ago. And the reason why I say this is because the person who have the most amount of money is the person that you will vote for, whether you like it or not. And this is a prime example of that. That's not democracy. Democracy is being able to hear both people out. Democracy is being able to hear both ideas, and then the people choosing whose idea they like better. If you take Thomas Massie's idea compared to Ed's idea, unanimously, the majority of Americans will agree that Thomas Massie is a better candidate for Kentucky. But despite all that, despite the fact that Ed dodged 8 debates that Thomas Massie had planned with him, he dodged all of them. Despite all that, he still won. Why? Because he had billionaires that were funding him. He had people who had different motive that were funding him. Thomas Massie, on the other hand, as you can see, he didn't have none of those. He only had the American people to support him. Truth of the matter is this, right? Truth of the matter is, where's the graph not the graph, but truth of the matter is Thomas Massie won the youth. Thomas Massie won people between the age of 55 and 17, the people who were able to vote. It's only the boomers that were able to pretty much fall for the AI slop that was floating on the internet about Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Ilhan Omar having a threesome. All right. Only the boomers are the one that fell for that. So not only do we now understand that America has been completely taken over by a foreign government, we also now understand that it's the boomers that are pretty much keeping these entities in position of power. This is both a good and a bad sign. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the good news is these people are dying off. These people are getting old. They can't think straight. All right. It's only a matter of time now, give it about 10, 20 years before the majority of the people who pretty much voted to get Ed into office are going to die off. The bad news is Ed is going to be in office for quite a while. Another bad news is this foreign government now understand that they are losing grip on the American people. This foreign government understand that the boomers are the ones that are pretty much keeping them in position of power. So, ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Massie being kicked out of office was both good and bad. I'm kind of glad that he lost. And the reason why I say this is because I genuinely believe that if he was to win, he would have done too much damage and they wouldn't have liked that. And the only way for Thomas Massie to stop doing what he's doing in Congress is to pretty much take him out. So with him losing, now he won't be in the spotlight. Now he won't have the power to pretty much continue to expose the e-files. Now, this also gives us the opportunity to vote for him in 2028 when he decides to run for presidency. By the time that happened, obviously, going for, such huge position of power, you're going to have a lot more voters. You're going to have a lot more people aware of the fact that you are running for it. I'm in Colorado. I was not able to vote for Thomas Massie. Other people in other states were not able to vote for Thomas Massie. Because if that was the case, I guarantee you he would have won if other states were able to vote him in Kentucky. But him running for a position of power, him running for presidency, the whole entire state are going to vote for whoever the candidate is going to be. And in my opinion, if Thomas Massie decides to run for office in 2028, he's definitely going to win. My personal opinion, he's going to win. If not, it's probably going to be somebody else who is perhaps aligned with Thomas Massie, because the majority of Americans are now starting to understand that those who are backed up by the state of Israel should not be in position of power, should not be listened to. And this is a prime example of that, because the majority of the youth here in the United States pretty much understand that those who are backed up by, those who are backed up by, people like Miriam Edelson should not be in position of power. Miriam Edelson added special add to her collection. So yeah, he's pretty much going to be doing her bidding. And you guys also need to understand that it's not the people who put him in power. It's not the voter who put him in power. It's her. She's the one who put him in power. He's going to have to answer to her. Just like how Donald Trump answers to her. Pretty much everything that's going on right now that is benefiting the state of Israel because of Donald Trump is because of the $200 million that he got from her. Everything that he's going to be doing in Kentucky that's going to benefit the state of Israel is going to be because of her. She is the sitting president of the United States right now, in case you guys haven't noticed. It's not Donald Trump. It's her. She runs the game. She tells them what to do. She tells them, hey, we want you to do this for the state of Israel. It's not the voters. It's not the common Americans. Donald Trump is literally right now. He was caught. Well, not caught. He said it on national television that the well-being of the Americans is not his priority. That his priority is to make sure that Iran doesn't get a nuke. This is a prime example. And where do you think he's getting that talking point from? Because guess what? Iran is not a threat to America. Iran has no weapon capability that's able to reach America. But rather, Iran is able to flatten Israel. Iran is completely able to do that. So the fact that Donald Trump said it in public, his priority is to pretty much make sure that Iran does not get a nuke is the same talking point that Benjamin Netanyahu would have. It's the same talking point that Miriam Edelson would have. It's the same talking point that the state of Israel will unanimously agree with. Not the American people. Not the American people. And to end it off, I just want to go ahead and say this was back in May 10 of 2022. And I think this is what Donald Trump wrote, because Thomas Massie for Congress replied to real Donald Trump. Is this the one? And it says endorsement of Congressman Thomas Massie. FYI, Donald Trump did endorse Ed over here. I mean, we all understand why. And so this is pretty much the note right here. Endorsement of Congressman Thomas Massie. Congressman Thomas Massie is a conservative warrior for Kentucky 4th Congressional District, an MIT graduate, and the first-rate defender of the Constitution. Thomas fight hard to protect your liberty, especially the First and the Second Amendment, which are under siege by a radical left. Strong on the border in our military and vet, Thomas Massie has many complete and total endorsement. Has my complete and total endorsement. So yeah, this was 22. And then all of a sudden now, he pretty much said we need to get Thomas Massie out of there. And the excuse that they pretty much came up with is that, oh, Thomas Massie pretty much voted against all the things that... See, the reason they're telling us that is because they are relying on the idea that the American people are not really informed of the bills or whatever it is that they were trying to pass that Thomas Massie voted against. Because yes, he voted against a lot of the bills that they were trying to pass, but why? If you sit the average American down and ask them, why did Thomas Massie vote against these certain type of bills? They would not be able to answer it to you. But here you have, JD Vance and what's his name, Pete Hegseth, talking about, oh, we need to get Thomas Massie out of office because he's voting against a lot of the bills that are passing, blah, 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 blah. They don't really go over these bills. They're just telling you because, you, the American people, would think that, oh, Trump is trying to do good for us, trying to make America a safer or better country, and Thomas Massie is just out here voting against it. That's the idea that they want to implant in your mind, so that way you can go and vote against Thomas Massie. But truth of the matter is, the majority of the people are on Thomas Massie's side, not on Ed's side. The people who put Ed in office are the people who are pretty much primarily supporters of the state of Israel. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you learned a little bit from what's been going on in Kentucky. Thomas Massie, you tried your best, obviously, and I genuinely think that the election was rigged. I'm just going to go ahead and flat out say I believe that it was rigged. Do I have proof for it? I don't. But as time go on, it will become more and more obvious. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll catch you guys up in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.